Good Thursday to everybody. Thanks for clicking on to today's European Outlook. High pressure remains the dominant force. We know that. It has been the case now for several weeks on end. And we're probably well on our way to one of, if not the warmest, driest springs on record for the British Isles. But under clear skies, light winds, we do have chilly nights, temperatures in a few spots down around the freezing mark with shelter, but obviously as the sun gets going at this time of the year, the temperatures respond very nicely indeed. And these are the current temperatures at the time of recording, and you can see that we are talking about mid to high teens reasonably widely across particularly the north of the UK. We've actually got 18-19 Glasgow Bishopton area. We've got 18s in the western side of Northern Ireland, Republic of Ireland, but it's actually down across the bulk of England and Wales where we're holding on to slightly cooler, fresh conditions. Onshore wind coming in off the North Sea with cloud cover is keeping the temperatures a little bit subdued, but we are going to be seeing the temperatures rise as we push towards the weekend, but that comes with a catch, and essentially that catch is the warmer the air mass, and with a slight reduction in pressure, both from the north and from the south, we're going to start to see instability growing with that increase in surface warming taking place. So you can see here, this is the latest visible satellite imagery, and we've got some decent spells of sunshine, southern, central, eastern Scotland. We've got a little bit of high-level cloud over the Highlands, for example, but there's that bank of cloud that is keeping England and Wales a little bit fresher this afternoon. So here's a closer view. And northern half of the British Isles is doing better than the southern half. Reasonably thick cloud associated with that breeze coming in from a northeasterly direction. We've also got some pretty decent sunshine across Northern Ireland and the eastern side of the Republic, a little bit cloudier, mid to high level cloud, especially the further west you go over Ireland at this moment in time. Looking at the radar then, and is it picking up on any precipitation? As you can see here, it's largely high and dry across both UK and Ireland at the moment. In terms of the temperatures across the continent, this is how things are looking, and we are seeing slightly cooler conditions. Remember the colder air coming in off western Russia and pushing its advancing west-southwest across the heart of Europe here. But where you've got the sunshine, we are seeing the temperatures responding. These were the minimum temperatures this morning, and you can see we've got some relatively cold air, especially over parts of eastern Germany. Much of Poland and into the Baltics, you've got some temperatures below the freezing mark. So moving on then, we are going to continue to see this high pressure dominate over the next couple of days. But like I said, we do actually have a frontal system edging in. This is off the ECNWF, by the way. You can see a frontal system associated with that 975 millibar low. By the way, it's producing snowfall across parts of Iceland. Some fairly cold air getting drawn off Greenland, crossing that fairly short body of water between Iceland and Greenland, so it doesn't moderate just as quickly because it's coming straight off that ice cap. But some fairly cold air getting drawn off the Greenland ice cap around this area of low pressure and into south and southwestern portions of Iceland. Very different story, obviously, down across the UK, but it's that associated frontal system that is going to increase the charge potentially across the north. But we're also keeping our eyes on this little feature here over Iberia. That is going to swing a little occluded front towards the southwest of the British Isles, and therefore we need to watch out for showers and thunderstorms developing underneath any sails. We could see some very significant amounts of rain in a very short period of time. But you can see here, by the time we reach Sunday, we've got this decrease in pressure over the country, and therefore we're destabilizing the air, and with strong solar radiation reaching the surface, that is going to increase the lift over the UK through the course of this weekend. Is this the breakdown to a more permanent replacement to low pressure? No, not necessarily. But you can see here, quite widely unsettled northern Iberia, a good part of France, extending into the UK. The question mark's a little bit about how far north those showers and how widespread those showers become over the UK. Some of the models are indicating a greater expanse of shower activity. Others is keeping the high pressure, creating that little bit more of a lid and a cap in the atmosphere, and less in the way of showers the further north and east you go, for example. But you can see here that area of low pressure becoming somewhat influential as we move out of the weekend and into the early portions of next week. And then the high rebuilds once again. We do have some fairly convective showers developing here off the ECM at 15 UTC. Obviously, that's a warm time of the day, and when you've got a pressure at 1,009 millibars, you've got that trigger associated with the surface low pressure. You've got the ingredients there for some fairly lively thunderstorms across the south of the UK. The further north you go, it's largely high and dry. But we play through this loop, you can see that the high becomes much more established as we progress through the course of next week. And then all the way out beyond the weekend and into the following week, that high continues to rule the roost, essentially just creating this closed door to any weather trying to affect the UK as well as Ireland. So drier and warmer than average looks to be the theme going forward. Looking at the latest off the UK map model here, this is the high resolution. You can see variable cloud over the next few days, and then as we move into the weekend, you can see there's that frontal system edging towards the Northern Isles here, the Outer Hebrides, and essentially what you're doing is you're just destabilizing the atmosphere and creating the lift. So you can see the ECMWF is seeing and sniffing out some potential showers and even longer spells of rain associated with that boundary as we move into the day on Monday. Not a huge amount across the south at this stage, but you can see the development of showers, especially over high ground into Monday afternoon. Some across the north, across many areas of Wales, the Midlands, southwestern portions of the British Isles here. And then as that high kind of re-strengthens once again next week, we're going to see that essentially back to the default position that we've been much of this spring so far. In terms of the temperatures, we are seeing a rise. We are going to creep hopefully into the 20s come tomorrow afternoon across many areas of the UK. In fact, anywhere from the southwest and southeast of the British Isles all the way to the Murray Coast, we could be talking about temperatures into the low 20s. So this is by the time we reach 15Z tomorrow. We're talking about 20 between Inverness and Elgin. We've got the 20 in Aberdeenshire. The eastern side of the UK, or Scotland should I say anyway, looks warmer than the west. We've got the winds coming in more from a southwesterly direction, so we've got the warmest conditions the further east and northeast you go. Northern Ireland again, upper teens to around 20. The Republic of Ireland, and then the good part of England and Wales, we're talking about high teens to low 20s. And then the temperatures will continue to creep up as we progress through the course of the weekend. This is by the time we reach 15Z. We've got the 23, possibly 24 showing up here on Saturday afternoon. Then as we move into Sunday afternoon, we notch the temperatures up even further. There's a 27 Celsius down near the Bristol area by the time we reach Sunday afternoon. So we're going to increase the temperature, but increase the threat of showers and thunderstorms as we progress through the course of this week. And then even into Monday afternoon, we're talking about low 20s across the south of Scotland, but we could be talking about upper 20s, believe it or not, back in across England and Wales as we move into the early portions of next week. So we're warming up, but we're also increasing the level of instability within the atmosphere as well. Finally, looking at some of the weeklies of the ECMWF, this is mean sea level pressure. You can see that the high is firmly established in the means, the core of that, just to the north of the British Isles. So that always opens the door to lower pressure and instability coming up from Spain, France, into the southern half of the UK. This is the period Monday 12th through Monday the 19th of May. Looking beyond then into the 19th through the 26th, again, high pressure remains largely dominant. And then you notice as we move towards the final week of May into the first couple of days of June, the ECMWF is starting to sniff at lower pressure returning to the north of the UK, exactly where the high is centred at the moment. Looks as if the modelling is sniffing out something more unsettled. So we'll wait and see what happens anyway. More on that in the next couple of days, so stay tuned. Like and subscribe. See you tomorrow with more. Bye for now.